Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Jeff Gluck from SBNation.com. This is not Landon Castle. I don't know if you noticed that. But Landon's not here this week. He was supposed to be on originally, but he's actually testing right now. He's actually working. Not that Alan Gustafson, the crew chief of the number 5 team, isn't working very hard. I'm sure you've been working hard today.
Absolutely.
But right now we're here to chat with you guys. So you're on ampupthe88.com. This is where you guys come to amp up for the race every week. And just a reminder before we get started, there's a couple things that are cool for you guys. One is, and I'm always, this is the one I think is the most exciting, is they have a Dale Jr. autographed item that they give away on the website like every day.
That's cool.
So that's a lot of autographs to sign probably.
What is it today? Do we know?
I don't know. It's like a different item every day.
That's nice.
So yeah.
Need to get on there.
And then also Kip Wolfmeyer, the rear tire changer. He is on the Off the Track video series that they have a different guy every week on that. And then also TJ Major's Twitter feed, which I follow. I'm big on Twitter. So you can follow that on there. Next week we will actually have the real Landon Castle here at 12:30. So, but right now let's talk to Alan Gustafson. Alan, thank you for coming in on some short notice here.
Absolutely.
So I'm just looking through some of these questions here. The first thing is talking about how hard you guys work. Joey Kasey is wanting to know, do crew chiefs ever get a day off?
We do. You know, few and far between. A normal work week for me is usually Monday through Thursday. Thursday I usually go home around noon. We travel in the afternoon. Flight times are anywhere from 4 to 5. And then obviously the weekend picks up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Situations like Richmond, you know, we love those Saturday night races because you've got Sunday with your family, and that's a cool thing. So we race on Saturday night and get home. I think I got home 2 or 3 in the morning, and then you get Sunday to spend with your family, which is nice. And a lot of times, for me who have children, you know, when I'm off on Thursdays, they're at school, so that is difficult. So it's nice that those Sundays are nice days that you've got with everybody at home and having fun.
Do you think people in the garage are ever going to push NASCAR for like more 2-day shows like that?
I think so. I think everybody likes the Saturday night shows. You know, I mean, everything under the lights is nice. You know, the weather, you're not, the heat index is down. Usually it's a little bit cooler. So the racing's really exciting on Saturday nights, it seems like. So I think everybody likes that, and then gives Sunday the opportunity for Sunday. And I know obviously Nationwide Series races on Saturday, so that makes that difficult sometimes. But yeah, I think I like the 3-day shows. The 2-day shows aren't bad. They're they're cramped. They're tight, but they're good. To me, more so than the 2-day shows, the Saturday night's a real big deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you know, this is Junior Nation out here, so they want to know a lot of 588 type questions.
Yeah.
So DRL De Boer is wondering how you feel things in the 588 shop are meshing now compared to last year. Obviously, we've all heard that was a big change, working closer together and all that stuff. Can you talk about that? I
think it's been real positive for us mostly. You know, you always hit bumps in the road. Lance, I think, is doing a great job. The communication between myself and Lance and both teams is really going well. I feel like both teams are operating at a higher level than they were a year ago. We need to be better. I don't think where we want to be. We had both cars in the chase, unfortunately. We both had bad finishes last week at Richmond, and 88 fell to 13th. But we need to get both cars back up, and they're more solidly in the chase. But I think it's gone positive for us. We know there's some more work to do. Definitely the right direction. Definitely improvements. But it never ends. You're never happy. You're never comfortable. You always continue to improve and fine tune and tweak and work. But as a whole, we've made a lot of good moves, a lot of good decisions, and I think we've seen some of the fruits bared from that. But I think we'll see a lot more.
Talking about how I think all 4 cars were in the chase. It was the first time this year that all 4 Hendrick cars have ever been in.
First time ever, actually.
Yeah.
First time ever all 4 Hendrick cars in the top 10, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So Stealth Bomber is wondering, which is kind of a cool name, by the way.
Stealth Bomber.
Yep. In your opinion, why is HMS such a dominant power within NASCAR?
I think it all starts with Rick Hendrick. I think that's where it all comes down from there, and I don't think people understand. If you're not around Mr. Hendrick to know what type of person he is and how he leads and treats his people and manages his race teams and his businesses, it all starts with him, and then we follow his lead all the way down through. So he's the pillar to the success of this company, his philosophies, his work ethic, and we just carry that out. And then it comes down to the people. You know, he attracts very, very good people, very loyal people who have been here a long time and put a lot of work into this place. And the people, everybody who works here is extremely proud to be here. Proud to represent Hendrick Motorsports. Proud to represent all of our sponsors. You know, AMP, GoDaddy, Chevrolet, Lowe's, DuPont. They're all great sponsors, and we're proud to go to the track every week. And we believe in what we do, and we believe in our leadership. So that makes a big difference.
I hear that kind of thing a lot from everybody that works here. And I also heard you last week when you signed your new contract, or you announced your extension. You know, you're saying, I love Rick Hendrick, I love working here, I'd sweep floors, whatever. And you said, you know, unless you've been around him, you don't understand. But like for the people out there, and for me that don't, you know, see him every day or whatever, what is it about this guy that makes you guys this kind of passion, this loyalty to this person?
I think that's tough to put, you know, just say one thing. This is what Mr. Hendrick does so well. The biggest thing he's always done for me is he has supported me regardless of the situation. Thick or thin, winning, losing. If I made a mistake, if I've won a race, you know, if I made the best call on pit road or the worst call on pit road, he supports me 100% either way. He gives you that confidence, and he has the uncanny ability to know the right person for the job, and then in certain situations he knows the right direction, the right thing to say. I was struggling after Martinsville. We had a great car, had a chance to win the race, had some trouble on pit road, and ended up blowing the right front tire and finishing 20-something. But you get so mad, you just grit your teeth. And I'm driving home, about to rip the steering wheel off my truck, and he called me, and he knows just the right thing to say. And I remember hanging up the phone with him. It's like, man, that guy is just unbelievable. You know, how does he know how to put all that in perspective? And then, you know, he always backs you up. He's always there for you. He always supports his people. And not only performance in life in general, he understands. You know, he's been through a lot of things in his life, and I've seen him go way out of his way to help guys on our race team whose mothers have been sick or families gotten to an issue or needs help here, and he always steps up for the team. Very unselfish person, and she's just very, very inspiring.
Wow. Well, speaking of Hendrick in the future here, since you're going to be here a while now, Dale Jr. fan forever is just wondering simply, how do you feel about Kasey Kahne coming to drive the 5 in 2012?
I mean, Kasey's, you know, that's an exciting proposition. He's a really talented race car driver, and I think he's right with the experience and talent that he has. He's ready. You know, he's ready to contend to win championships and win a lot of races, and I think his personality will really fit well into our organization. And that'll help us elevate our team further and help our teammates elevate him a little bit too. So it's exciting. The future's great. You know, anytime you can. Mark's awesome. You know, I wish he would drive for 10 years, but we all know the situation he's in. You know, he's winding down his career. So having Kasey to carry us on into the future is awesome, and you know, couldn't wish for anything better.
Well, talking about your current team and Mark and everything like that, GoDaddy is your sponsor this year, and Keckless5 is wondering, number one, what's it like working with a new sponsor, it being so edgy and everything, and are you going to be in any commercials or anything like that, bikinis or something?
Yeah, I've been trying to get them to put me on there, but they're going for Danica for some reason.
I don't know why.
I don't know why, but yeah, no, GoDaddy's great. It's a lot of fun to have a sponsor like GoDaddy, and you know, their commercials are really entertaining to me. They crack me up. So, but they do a lot of good things for us. We really appreciate GoDaddy and what they do. And you can go to GoDaddy today, which is awesome, and put in HMS015 as the code, and they get you 15% off a website registration or hosting and all the cool stuff they do. So yeah, GoDaddy is awesome, and really fun to be associated with those guys.
That was a good sponsor plug there.
Did I do
You've
good?
Definitely learned from.
Did I look at the camera?
Look at the drivers.
I
think you did.
Yeah, HMS015. Got it.
That's pretty good. So Dakota Lover MH is wondering, other than the 5 team, are you passionate about any other pro sports teams? Any other sports you love?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I'm a sports fanatic. I'm from Florida originally, so I'm a huge Florida Gators fan.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm not done. Hold on. We got to line them all up.
All right.
I'm a huge Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, even though they have let me down tremendously these last couple of years and cut all my favorite players, but we won't go there. And the Magic were representing last night, so they were awesome.
Yeah.
So excited about the Magic too. So yeah, I'm a huge sports fan, and those are the teams that I like to follow. So the Magic, I think, are going to be in the NBA Finals again, so hopefully they can win it this year.
It hasn't been too hard to be a Florida fan. I mean, I guess maybe this year was a little tough, but recent years they've been winning as much as Hendrick teams win.
Yeah, I mean, the Gators are incredible, and they've been on top for a while now. Even in the Zook years when they were down a little bit, they were still a real good football team. So the basketball team was good too. They're continuing to improve, but yeah, the Gators are awesome.
Cool. All right, Jellybean88 is wondering, out of all the races you guys have been to, what is the coolest one?
The coolest, you think meaning one, single, or track? What's your interpretation?
I think she's thinking like when you went home from a race, you're like, man, that was a cool race that we just saw. Like a single race.
The coolest one. I think the coolest race I can remember, for reasons other than obviously when you win, those are the cool ones.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. So,
yeah.
But the Ricky Craven, Kurt Busch finish at Darlington.
Yeah.
Was, I wasn't involved in that. Obviously, when you're involved, you're pumped up and the adrenaline's flowing, and you're watching your car. But I wasn't. That wasn't one of my cars, and I was the same way. That finish was so incredible. Those guys were going at it. So, obviously, the wins for the 5 and for Hendrick Motorsports are the ones I like the most. But besides that, I'd say that finish with Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch was the coolest finish that I can remember.
This brings up a question I have. When you win a race, you're on the pit box, he comes off turn 4, you realize it's actually going to happen, nothing's going to go wrong in the final turn or whatever to lose it. Like, what kind of thoughts go through your head immediately after you win a race? I mean, what's going on?
For me, that is the only time that you're really at peace. You know what I mean? Like, there's that, if you can imagine, like, you're standing on the beach and wind blowing in your face and there's nothing around you and there's just peace and calm.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Really?
You feel like you've done your job, you've accomplished what you wanted to accomplish, all this work paid off to this, and then there's this moment you're just like, yeah, this is good. So that's what that's
So it's more like relief than...
Yeah, I don't want to say relief. I mean, there's joy. I mean, that files quickly thereafter, and you get the chest out, and you're walking down pit road going to victory lane. That's actually a lot of fun too. The walk from, everybody wants to run victory lane. I want to like go as slow as I can go, because that walk from wherever you pitted to victory lane is one of the greatest sensations in racing. But the immediate checkered flag is more a calming, like a sense of accomplishment and peace for me.
REI King 101 is wondering. Having gotten pretty close to Mark recently for you the last few years, what's the most surprising non-racing related thing you have learned about him?
His diet, strangely enough.
Really?
Is, we all know Mark is a fitness buff and likes to work out, but his diet is so stringent, ridiculously stringent.
Really?
He eats so well, and he watches his calories and his fat intake, and he is so particular about his eating habits. It's very impressive to see his commitment to that. And I've seen a lot of guys who take care of themselves, and he's that much further past that. That's really, it's incredible to see. That's probably one of the biggest things that you don't really realize until you're with him day in and day out. And I talked to him. If he hears this, he's gonna be mad at me. But I talked him into eating a piece of pizza one time. Like, that was a huge.
Really?
Yeah, that was a huge deal. And he ate like half of it. You could see the guilt was kicking in, and he quit.
So do you follow his lead with the healthy stuff at all, or do you kind of go your own way?
I definitely believe in that philosophy, but I still like to have a little more fun than he does. I think so.
Yeah.
Pizza's my vice, so that's why I talked him into eating some pizzas, because I could eat pizza all day long.
This is an interesting question, and I'm always kind of curious about this since you guys all share the information and everything, and you see each other's setups. Jennifer Raines is wondering, how does Dale Jr.'s driving style and what he looks for in a car differ from Mark's? How do their setups compare, I guess?
I think Mark Jr. he's particular about the platform of his car, meaning how is the car when it's compressed in the corner? Does it roll on the right front? Does it roll on the right rear? Does it stay propped up on the right rear? That platform is really important to Junior. Besides the balance, I mean, any of them, if the car is just ridiculously loose, they're going to be ridiculously loose. I mean,
Right.
if it's just crazy tight, it's going to be crazy tight. But once you get the balances close, Junior's pretty particular about his platform. Mark he has to turn the center of the corner. I mean, if you don't turn the center of the corner, it's the cardinal sin. There's no other way to make it up. He makes his speed through the center of the corner. So those are probably the biggest differences between the two of them. All of our drivers, when you get a car and a setup that's really good, it's that principle is pretty universal. You just got to tweak it for each individual person to say he wants this or wants that, or he wants this feel. He's going to drive it in a little deeper here. He's going to back the corner up here, or he wants to roll a little longer or get to the gas here. Then you've got to make some fine-tune adjustments. But I think once you get that package that's generating a lot of grip, it's pretty universal.
This kind of brings up a point. There's a lot of times, and obviously Mark doesn't scream at you like some drivers scream at their crew chiefs.
I've had them though.
Yes, you have, yeah. But how do crew chiefs deal with that? Like, I always wonder how these guys have such thick skin, where a driver's like, "This is the worst car I've ever had. You suck," or whatever it is. You know, how do you brush that off?
Well, I think you brought up, your illustration brings up a good point. This is the way I look at it. They're out there driving in a hostile environment, and I completely understand that they're going to lose their cool. And I have no problem with, hey, the car's bad, we're really struggling here or there, it's terrible, worst car I've ever driven, I've heard that like 10,000 times. So that's fine. I think the driver out of respect for crew chief just cannot make it personal. You can't say, hey, you suck, or you're not doing your job, or this, that, and other, because the one thing everybody's got to remember, no matter how frustrated you get, we're all just rowing this boat as hard as we can,
right? Hopefully
in the same direction. And everybody's trying. There's no crew chief on pit road who's going to say, "Hey man, I won't send this guy here and watch him fly under 30-second." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to say, "Hey, give them the best car they can, the fastest car," and wants to win. And when it doesn't happen, that's just as deflating, if not more deflating, to the crew chief as is the driver. So you got to remember that, and you brush it off. Fortunately for me, even the drivers who vent that I've worked with in the past usually don't get so frustrated. They take it to a personal level, and they may say, "Hey, the car's not here or there," but they keep it professional, and that's the key. And if it's professional on a professional level, you can always take it and you deal with it. And with a guy like Mark, makes that really easy, because Mark's doing 100% of what he can, and if he tells you that, he's not saying that out of frustration. He's saying that because that's usually what's happened.
Yeah. Well, we're halfway through already, actually a little bit over halfway through, and just a reminder, you're chatting with Alan Gustafson, who's the crew chief of the 5 team. This is ampup88.com, where you come to amp up for the race every week, so keep the questions coming so we can have some more good ones here. I was wondering, I see another one here that I'm wondering about. Sail Queen is wondering, do you have any pre-race rituals that you do at every race, or how do you get ready for a race? We hear about the drivers, but how about the crew chiefs?
I go over my notes, race history, things that happened in previous years right before the race. That's the way I like to prepare. It's almost like, if you've got to go say a line for a TV commercial, you read over that stuff right before you go on, and that's kind of what I do. I'll get all of my information, the adjustments. If the car's doing this, I've got a game plan for the adjustments, and I've got history for the race, what's happened. The guy won it last year on 2 tires or 4 tires, or they stopped here. This race has X amount of cautions. And I work through that probably 2 or 3 times in the last hour right before the race, and you just kind of run through it.
Like flashcards before a test or something.
Almost, yeah. And I like to do that because that makes me feel, those split decisions. When you make a split decision on pit road, or you make a decision on adjustment, that's not, you're not just pulling that out of thin air. And to do that successfully, you've already done the work. So you're just, boom, you're ready to fire that in. And I think you've got to have that assertiveness and that confidence in what you're doing. That helps me, feel like I've got a really good grasp on what's going on.
Hopefully it never comes to this for you, I guess. But 88 Junior fan Go 88.
You're kind of laughing at this one.
He's wondering, what would you like to do if you were not a crew chief?
If I was not a crew chief, is this like dream job, you think, or is this?
I think they're assuming that this is your choice, not like, hey, you're out on the street, you got to find something else.
Yeah,
I think it's like what you'd like to do.
We'll spin it a good way.
Good.
I would like to host AMP chats.
Really? Wow, that is a very, very good job.
No, seriously, that would be cool. If I could do anything I wanted to do besides racing, because I love racing, assuming that I don't need to get paid a lot of money, I think I'd probably go be a ball boy at either, UF or Tampa Bay or something like that.
Okay.
Or I could be the
running
dude,
the sidelines. You toss them the new ball into the game.
Yeah, that. Maybe equipment manager. I've always thought it's usually little kids, so I'd look a little out of place. But the guys underneath the rim at the NBA games that go sweep up the floor real quick.
Yeah. Mop up the sweat.
That might be pretty fun.
Yeah. Okay.
So something like that.
Boy, mopping up sweat. That's your dream job, huh?
I could heckle some of the players. Yeah.
You could have just said coach or sitting courtside or something like that, but you wanted to mop up the sweat.
We're chatting. We're having fun, right?
Finn Later has 2 questions for you. One is, do you think bump drafting should be legal on I-95, and how quickly can you change a flat tire?
They got to be from Florida. Absolutely.
Right.
But they need a bump drafting lane on I-95.
Just to get people out of the way.
Yeah, maybe just like a total destruction lane where if somebody's just making you mad, you can just run them off in this lane and park them in the guardrail or something. No, I-95 can be very frustrating. So,
That's a prime place for old people to be in the left lane that you don't need them to be there.
Are you stereotyping my state now?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. What was the second one?
How quickly can you change a flat tire?
As quick as I can dial AAA.
Okay, very good, very good.
I'm kidding. No, we could do it pretty quick. I think getting out the tools and everything. Let's go with. I'm going to say 6 minutes and 43 seconds.
Wow. Okay. Is that any based in fact at all, or did you just completely make that up?
Pretty much just made that up.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. We're just chatting. So
we're chatting, yeah.
Yeah.
We're bumped out there on 95. We're changing tires in 6 minutes and 43 seconds. It's happening.
I'm looking for more fun questions now. We're just rolling. Tish McGee wants to know who would win an arm wrestling match between you and Mark Martin.
I got him.
Really?
Yeah, man. I got like 60 pounds.
Dude, he's ripped.
I got 60 pounds on the guy. Surely I could put that to good use.
Just put all your weight.
Yeah, I just
leverage
body
it.
lean on him.
Yeah.
I got him.
I could maybe see that.
If he hears this, he's gonna make me arm wrestle him.
Yeah. Okay. I would pay to watch that, by the way. So if you're going to do that, can you come out in front of your hall or something?
Yeah, we will. We'll do it. We'll set up a little thing, and we'll get that set up.
That would be cool. Let's see. Jennifer Raines wants to know, have you learned anything about Dale Jr. that surprised you?
He is, not knowing him before, he is absolutely hilarious.
Really?
That dude will crack you up like there's no tomorrow, and extremely witty. And you don't see that until I didn't see that as a competitor or a fan from the outside, but when you're around him, I mean, he gets it going. When you get going, and then you're kind of going back with him, and you're making yourself laugh, and he's making you laugh. And he's very witty, and he's extremely funny. I think that would probably be the biggest thing I didn't realize about him. Does he have kind of like a drier sense of humor or something? I mean, he's dry, and I wouldn't even call it dry, but when you're real witty and you kind of think, if your joke's kind of here, like he'll take it, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's kind of the way he is.
Okay.
He'll build on the joke, which is pretty cool.
Gotcha. So you mentioned you have a couple kids, you have a family. Junior Fan Amp is wanting to know, how difficult is it for anyone who works in racing to manage the professional and personal lives, that tough balance that you guys go through? I don't have a problem managing, the two. It's just the time away, I think, is the most difficult. And the thing for me is you just have to be as efficient as possible. And I get to the point, and you do in your career, it's, if I'm not being productive, then, I'm working hard, productive, or I'm not, because there's no time to kind of coast in between. And that's the biggest thing, is just finding the time and working it out. And then when I have time, of course, my wife gets mad at me. I'm packing as much fun, and me and the boys are getting after it, doing whatever we can, as much as we can. So she gets a little mad because she sometimes has to be the sensible one, and then I come home and blow all that up, and we do whatever we want to do. You're the fun dad.
I'm the fun dad, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got a couple questions here about off-season vacation stuff. Badger Bama is wondering, What do you look forward to most about the offseason, and Junior 88 Country Girls winning your favorite place to go in the offseason? So what's your... What do you think?
My house is my favorite place to go.
All right,
I just
enough.
like to chill at home. I don't like to go. We're fortunate enough to travel the country and see a lot of cool places when we're racing, and when I'm home, I like to be home, and that's the funnest thing to do for me. Is just chill out at home and you know, kind of be normal and work in the yard or do whatever, clean out my garage. That seems to be a winter ritual, is cleaning out the garage.
That sounds fun.
That does. We'd turn it into a good time there. What was the other one?
Where do you, what do you like to do and where do you like to go? So I guess you like to stay home and clean.
Yes. Mopping up sweat.
Yeah, mopping up sweat.
Man.
And did you used to sweep floors, or is that?
Well, Jenna Fryer got me on that one. She asked me if I was going to sweeping floors. Like,
right.
Yeah, well, I threw out the landscaping thing too. See, that's the general.
Okay,
See,
yeah.
I threw it out again. I can't landscape, so all y'all
Right.
watching, I can sweep your floors and I can landscape too.
In all your spare time that you have.
That's what I do.
Anybody around this area is looking for somebody.
We've got mopping up sweat in that too, so
Yeah.
we're covering it all.
Let's see. Let me ask you another racing-related question here, not off-season or fun stuff, but Crazy Gemini 2000 wanted to know, what do you think about the new rules that NASCAR has implemented this year? I guess maybe talking about the spoiler, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'd assume the spoiler is probably one of them. Maybe getting rid of the bump drafting, rough driving rules at Talladega, Daytona. So on that one, I like it. I don't think that NASCAR should try to govern the drivers on the racetrack. I mean, obviously you can't do things that are just so completely out of line that you're maliciously attacking somebody. I don't want to be too dramatic, but you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
I mean, you can't just miss a corner to drive somebody in the fence, obviously. But as far as is the contact at Daytona and Talladega and the restrictor plate tracks, I think it was a great call by them to get out of the interpretation business, so to speak, because it's just no win for them.
Right.
And if you let the drivers police themselves, I think after a few incidents and rough knocks, they're gonna do a really good job of that, and I think they have. So I like that. The spoiler, it was kind of six, half dozen, whatever, 6 and 1, half dozen other.
Right.
What I'm
Yes.
trying to say.
That's it. Yep.
To me, but aesthetically, I like it. I think it looks good. But we've struggled with it, so I'm kind of wanting that wing back for right now. But we're working on the spoiler. We've struggled since we put the spoiler on a little bit, so we've got to find a few things with that. I think we're going the right direction, but
is that coincidence or performance?
It's early to tell. We're sifting through that, but I don't want to. I'm definitely not the person who's going to sit around and say, "Oh, it's just a coincidence." I'm going to work hard on having a solution, and hopefully it is coincidence, and we can get some better finishes. But since we've put that spoiler on, we've struggled a little bit, and it may be coincidence, and I hope it is. But either way, we're going to be prepared.
Okay. Oh boy, I'm going to butcher this name. I'm sorry, Mitch Kowalchuk, maybe? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. He would like to know, have you ever been behind the wheel of a race car?
I have. I raced go-karts when I was young, and a few cars here and there, and realized that I was okay by myself. I was actually pretty fast, but not too good around other cars. So I tore up enough stuff to realize that this isn't going to work. So.
Aren't you kind of a self-made guy in racing? You started your own team, right?
I did. I actually was a Busch Grand National team owner when I was, I was pretty young. Probably 23.
Wow.
And we made one race in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I can remember this was my big lesson in finances and owning a team. We had a sponsor. We made one race, and the sponsor paid us $10,000, and my tire bill was $12,200.
Wow.
So I was like, ooh.
Wow.
Whoa, hold on here. This isn't this isn't working out too good. So we ran some at the time. You probably remember they used to have a series called the Hooters Pro Cup where they were similar cars to Busch cars or nationwide cars, and we raced that for a while. And then we ran one Busch race. The goal was to run Busch, and we ran one and went broke. But it was a great experience. I lost a lot of money, but I learned a lot from it too. So. We did it on. I had borrowed a truck, borrowed a trailer, built one car.
Wow.
Halfway borrowed a motor, halfway paid for it. But so after that, I actually worked here. So I think about the first 4 years I worked here, I was paying off all my debt. So.
Wow. Wow. Well, with the new contract,
I'm done.
By
I'm
far,
yeah, I'm good shape.
So with the Busch race you made, was that the only one you attempted, or did you attempt to? Oh, so you were 1 for 1 in your career.
Qualified 12th, 14th maybe. And Todd Bodine, if you're watching, wrecked us.
Oh, thanks a lot, Todd.
He owes me. Yeah, he should be paying off my bills.
That's right. Let's see. The person that asked this apparently is named Who Cares, which is kind of a weird name. I don't know. Maybe they don't care about their own question.
I care.
He is going to care. What's the weirdest thing you have ever signed in the garage at a race?
Weirdest thing. I don't know. That's a good question, because I can remember times when people have handed me things and I'm like, you want me to sign this? You know,
Have you signed a baby or anything?
No, but there's body parts. You know, that always comes up.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully not.
He saw the look on my face, I think.
Yeah. No. I can't even clean that up. I can't even say anything about that. You trapped me. So, I can't think of any specific things. I did have a really nice lady this weekend come to me with a bunch of Kyle Busch stuff.
Really? No.
Yeah. And she hands it to me, and I kind of gave her the.
Was it Kyle Busch 5-7 or Kyle Busch M&M's?
Yeah, we're not supposed to say that.
Oh, whatever.
Come on, retract.
That candy.
Yeah, whatever
thing.
That stuff is. It was Kyle Busch Current
Kyle Busch.
Current Kyle Busch. And I kind of looked at it, and I looked at my, because you're all GoDaddy.
Right.
Yellow and green, and I kind of hesitated, and she looked at me, and she's like, "Oh, is that not you?" No.
Boy, she missed the memo by a couple years on that one, didn't she?
She comes back with some Mark Martin stuff.
Really?
Which is great. So we hooked that all up.
Like, how much later did she come back? Like, she went off, got some Mark Martin stuff, and then.
We were picking pits, and then she came back to the truck. So I mean, it couldn't have been more than an hour.
Wow.
Hour and a half.
Huh. So she really wanted you to sign something.
She must have, yeah.
She just was a little bit thrown off of what that was, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's see. I think it looks like we're going to have maybe one more question here. And the last question is going to be from Sun VGG. Which track is the hardest to set up your car for?
The hardest. I'm going to go with Pocono.
Really?
Pocono is really difficult. Us as racers don't like to compromise. We like to have it all, and that place is, man, it's tough to get it all there. And it seems, some tracks you seem to find some positives at, or some niches or some directions that you feel really good about. You get some confidence with some success with some runs or whatever. You go back there and you build off that. And Poconos is a place that we just have never. And we finished good there. We had with Kyle at one time. We had a chance to win. I think we finished second or third. But it's just one of those places that every time you go back there, it seems like it's more difficult and it's changed. And you can't. It's not like you can go say, "Oh yeah, we ran good at Darlington. I'm gonna take that to Pocono." There's really no place. Some people use that indie analogy, but I don't.
Yeah, why do they? I've heard that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. I don't know where that comes from, but it's its own beast. And so if you go there, and there's a quick turnaround between races. So you go there the first race and you struggle, and then you've got about 3 or 4 weeks to try to figure that out as you're going to other tracks, and you've got to go back there again and perform a little better. We had that instance this year. I think we finished not so good in teen somewhere the first race, but the second race we went back and ran a little better, finished 6th or 7th or something. But it's definitely, that place is definitely can be a real big struggle.
Cool. All right. Well, we actually went over our time because people liked you so much, so we're going to end it now. But appreciate you coming on and pretending to be Landon. The actual Landon will be in the seat next week at 12:30. Yep. He won't be testing, and so we'll look forward to seeing you back here on ampupthe88.com, which is your place to amp up.